Zane's laughter echoed through the bustling airport terminal, a warm, genuine sound that made several harried travelers glance up from their phones. He wasn't trying to draw attention to himself, just desperately attempting to distract his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, from the fact that their flight had been delayed for the third time, pushing their departure well past midnight. "Daddy, tell another one," Lily giggled, her small hands clutching her worn stuffed rabbit. Isaac ran his fingers through his dark hair, exhaustion evident in the shadows beneath his brown eyes. Working double shifts as a mechanic barely kept them afloat since Karen had left 2 years ago, but he'd promised Lily this trip to visit her grandmother for months. The cheapest flights were at terrible hours, but beggars couldn't be choosers. "Okay, one more," he said, adjusting the strap of his weathered duffel bag. "Why don't scientists trust atoms?" Lily's forehead wrinkled adorably. "I don't know, because they make up everything," Isaac delivered with exaggerated outrage. Lily erupted into peals of laughter, drawing more attention their way, including from a woman seated across from them. She sat rigidly in her designer suit, gripping the armrests of her chair so tightly her knuckles had turned white. Despite the late hour, she looked impeccable apart from the unmistakable terror in her eyes. Isaac recognized that look immediately: fear of flying. He'd seen it countless times during his brief stint working at the airport years ago. "Lily Bug, wait here with Mr. Hops while I get us some snacks," Isaac said, making sure his daughter was settled before approaching the woman. "Excuse me," he said softly, not wanting to startle her further. "I couldn't help noticing you seem a bit concerned about flying." The woman's head snapped up. She had striking emerald eyes that widened with surprise. "Is it that obvious?" Her voice was cultured, with just a hint of a tremor. "Only to a professional nervous flyer spotter," Isaac said with a gentle smile. "I used to work here, saw it all the time." The woman attempted to return his smile, but it faltered. "I'm not usually like this. I fly constantly for work, but there was turbulence on my last flight, and now I can't seem to." She trailed off, embarrassed. "Let me guess your brain is now convinced that every plane is definitely going to crash, specifically the one you're about to board," Isaac offered. A genuine laugh escaped her. "Exactly. How did you know?" Shared wisdom from the anxiety trenches, Isaac said. "I'm Isaac, by the way, Isaac Zane. And that little comedian over there is my daughter, Lily." "Emma Davis," she replied, extending a perfectly manicured hand that contrasted sharply with his calloused one. "Your daughter is adorable, and those jokes were something. Dad jokes are an art form," Isaac said with mock seriousness. "Would you like to hear one? Guaranteed to be so bad you'll forget about your fear of flying." Emma glanced at her sleek watch, a timepiece that probably cost more than Isaac's monthly rent. "Well, our flight is delayed another hour, so why not? Why don't eggs tell jokes?" Isaac waited a beat. "They'd crack each other up," Emma groaned, but the tight grip on her armrests loosened slightly. "That's terrible. I know, that's why they're effective." Isaac grinned. "Want another?" Before she could answer, Lily bounded over, apparently tired of waiting. "Daddy, can I have a chocolate milk?" "In a minute, sweetie. This is Miss Davis. She's a little nervous about flying, like you were last year, remember?" Lily nodded solemnly. "Daddy told me that planes are safer than cars, and that pilots have to practice lots and lots before they can fly real people." Emma smiled at the little girl, her posture relaxing further. "Your dad sounds very smart. He fixes cars and knows everything," Lily declared proudly. Isaac felt heat rise to his cheeks. "Not everything, Lily Bug, just cars, bad jokes, and how to make dinosaur-shaped pancakes." "Dinosaur pancakes?" Emma raised an eyebrow, the ghost of a smile playing on her lips. "It's my specialty," Isaac admitted, "though my triceratops keeps coming out looking like a sad turtle." Their conversation flowed easily after that, with Isaac occasionally tossing out jokes that made Emma groan and Lily giggle. He learned that Emma was returning from a business conference, though she was vague about what she actually did. Isaac didn't press. He was too busy being grateful for the distraction from his own worries about the mounting bills waiting at home. When their flight was finally called, Emma hesitated at the gate. "Hey," Isaac said gently, "want to sit with us? I've got jokes for the entire flight." "You might regret that offer," Emma warned, but followed them onto the plane. As they settled into their seats, Emma had somehow arranged for the three of them to sit together. Isaac noticed how out of place they must look. Emma in her tailored suit, himself in a faded T-shirt with the logo of his garage, and Lily in her unicorn pajamas they'd hastily thrown on for the overnight flight. Yet as the plane rumbled down the runway and Emma's hand unconsciously sought his in panic, those differences seemed insignificant. Isaac told his corniest jokes through takeoff, and by the time they reached cruising altitude, Emma's breathing had steadied. Lily eventually dozed off, her head resting against Isaac's arm, but Emma remained awake, their conversation shifting from lighthearted to surprisingly personal in the quiet intimacy of the dimly lit cabin. "So," Emma said softly, careful not to wake Lily, "it's just you two?" Isaac nodded. Her mother left when Lily was 4, said she wasn't cut out for family life after all. He shrugged, the old pain dulled but still present. "We manage okay. More than okay, I'd say. She's a wonderful child." "She's everything," Isaac said simply. "What about you? Family waiting at home?" Emma shook her head. "Just work, always work." "What kind of work keeps you so busy?" Emma hesitated. "I run a company. It was my father's, but I took over 5 years ago when he retired." "Impressive," Isaac said, genuinely meaning it. "Must be a lot of pressure." "It is," Emma admitted. "But I've never known anything else." She glanced at Lily. "Sometimes I wonder what I'm missing, though." The conversation flowed until they both drifted off, waking only when the plane began its descent. As they disembarked, Isaac realized he'd actually enjoyed the flight for the first time in years. "Well," he said awkwardly as they reached the baggage claim, "it was really nice meeting you, Emma." "You too," she replied, then hesitated. "Thank you for the jokes and everything." Isaac smiled. "Anytime, maybe we'll see you around." "Maybe," Emma echoed, though they both knew the chances were slim. Isaac collected their worn suitcase, took Lily's hand, and headed toward the exit. He didn't see Emma watching them go, or notice her making a phone call, or hear her asking about a mechanic named Isaac Zane. He certainly didn't expect to see her again 3 days later, standing in the reception area of Mac's auto shop where he worked, looking as out of place in her designer dress as a diamond in a toolbox. "Car trouble?" he asked, wiping his hands on a rag as he emerged from beneath a sedan. Emma's face lit up with recognition. "Isaac, I thought that might be you. Your colleague said there was an Isaac working here." "That's me," he confirmed, suddenly acutely aware of the grease stains on his coveralls. "What brings you to our humble establishment?" "My car's making a strange noise," she said. "Nothing major, but I thought it best to have it checked." Isaac nodded, though something about her explanation felt off. "What kind of car?" "A Tesla. The newest model." "Ah," Isaac said, puzzled. "We don't typically service electric vehicles here. We're more of a traditional garage." "Oh," Emma said, looking genuinely surprised. "I didn't realize. Your colleague didn't mention that when I called." "That would be Mac. He'd accept a spaceship if someone brought it in." Isaac smiled. "But I can recommend a specialist who works with Teslas." "That would be helpful," Emma said, but made no move to leave. "Actually, I was wondering if you'd like to get coffee sometime, as a thank you for helping me through the flight." Isaac blinked, caught off guard. "Coffee, with me?" Emma nodded, a hint of uncertainty in her expression. "Unless you're not interested, which is completely no, I'd like that," Isaac interrupted. "I'm just surprised you'd want to." "Why wouldn't I?" Isaac gestured to himself, then vaguely in her direction. "You're clearly—" He searched for a diplomatic word. "Successful. And I'm a single dad who tells bad jokes and fixes cars for a living." Emma's smile faded. "Do you always categorize people by their jobs or income?" "No, of course not," Isaac said quickly. "But the world usually does." "Well, I don't," Emma said firmly. "So, coffee." "Coffee," Isaac agreed, unable to suppress his smile. "Though fair warning, I might bring more jokes." "I'm counting on it," Emma replied, her green eyes sparkling. Their coffee date turned into dinner the following weekend, with Lily joining them at Emma's insistence. Isaac had been nervous about including his daughter so soon, but Emma had a natural way with Lily that put his concerns to rest. As weeks passed, Isaac found himself increasingly drawn to Emma, her sharp mind, her unexpected sense of humor, and the gentle way she listened when he talked about his dreams of someday owning his own garage. She rarely spoke about her work, dismissing it as boring corporate stuff, and Isaac didn't pry, though he occasionally wondered what exactly her company did. A month into their relationship, Isaac invited Emma to Lily's school play. Sitting beside her in the cramped elementary school auditorium, watching his daughter recite her lines as a talking tree, Isaac felt a contentment he hadn't experienced in years. "She's incredible," Emma whispered, her eyes fixed on Lily. "She gets that from her mother," Isaac said automatically. Emma turned to him. "No, she gets it from you. Your kindness, your humor, your resilience. I see you in her every day." Isaac swallowed hard, emotion welling in his throat. "Thank you for being here." "There's nowhere else I'd rather be," Emma said, and the sincerity in her voice made his heart skip. After the play, as they walked Lily to her grandmother's house for a sleepover, Emma seemed unusually quiet. "Everything okay?" Isaac asked as they strolled back toward his modest apartment. Emma took a deep breath. "There's something I need to tell you, something I should have told you from the beginning." Isaac's stomach dropped. In his experience, conversations that started this way rarely ended well. "Okay. I haven't been entirely honest about my work," Emma began. "When I said I run a company, I was downplaying it. I'm the CEO of Davis Technologies." Isaac stopped walking, the name immediately registering. Davis Technologies was a Fortune 500 company, one of the largest tech firms in the country. "You're joking." "I'm not," Emma said quietly. "My father founded the company and I took over when he retired. I don't usually tell people right away because it complicates things." Isaac's mind raced, pieces falling into place: her expensive clothes, the way she'd glossed over questions about her work, the Tesla. "So you're not just successful, you're wealthy," Emma confirmed. "Yes, how wealthy are we talking?" Isaac asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know. Emma winced. "The financial magazine's estimate around $3 billion. Isaac felt lightheaded. "Billion with a B." "Yes." "And you've been letting me take you to diners and my apartment with the leaky faucet and pay for your coffee." "I like your apartment," Emma said. "And those diners have the best pie I've ever tasted." Isaac ran a hand through his hair, trying to process this information. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because people change when they know," Emma said, pain evident in her voice. "They either want something from me or they treat me differently, like I'm not a real person anymore. I just wanted to be Emma with you, not Emma Davis of Davis Technologies." Isaac remained silent, his thoughts in turmoil. "Are you angry?" Emma asked, vulnerability clear in her eyes. "I'm not angry," Isaac said finally. "I'm recalibrating. It's a lot to take in." "Does it change how you feel about me?" The question was barely audible. Isaac looked at her, really looked at her. The same Emma who had laughed at his terrible jokes on the plane, who had cheered for Lily at her soccer game, who had kissed him so tenderly in the rain last week. "No," he realized aloud. "It doesn't change how I feel." Relief flooded her face. "Really?" "Really," Isaac confirmed, reaching for her hand. "Though I may need some time to adjust to dating a billionaire." "Technically, it's only $3 billion, Emma said with a small smile. "Only $3 billion, Isaac echoed, shaking his head in disbelief. "No big deal." They continued walking, hand in hand, the revelation hanging between them but not separating them. "So," Isaac said after a moment, "that story about your car making strange noises." "Complete fabrication," Emma admitted. "I wanted to see you again but wasn't sure how to make it happen." Isaac laughed. "A simple 'I'd like to see you again' would have worked too." "I'll remember that for next time," Emma promised. The following months brought adjustments as Isaac grew accustomed to Emma's world. The first time she flew them to New York for the weekend on her private jet, he spent the entire flight making nervous jokes. When she introduced him to her friends at a charity gala, he felt hopelessly out of place until Emma squeezed his hand and whispered, "They're just people who have never heard your pterodactyl joke." For her part, Emma embraced Isaac and Lily's simpler life game nights at his apartment, helping Lily with her science project, and even learning to change the oil in Isaac's ancient truck, though she suggested multiple times that he might consider an upgrade. Isaac's friends were initially skeptical. His best friend Marcus pulled him aside at a barbecue and asked point blank, "Are you sure she's not just slumming it for the novelty?" "She's not like that," Isaac defended, watching as Emma helped Lily chase fireflies in the backyard. "She's real." And she was. Despite their different backgrounds, Emma and Isaac found common ground in their values, their sense of humor, and their growing feelings for each other. 6 months into their relationship, Isaac faced a crisis when the owner of his garage announced he was selling the business. The new owners planned to convert it to a quick oil change franchise, leaving Isaac and his colleagues without jobs. "I could help," Emma offered when he told her the news. "I could buy the garage, keep it as is." "No," Isaac said firmly. "I appreciate the offer, but I need to handle this my way." "I'm not suggesting charity," Emma argued. "It would be an investment, a good one based on what you've told me about the business." "It's not about the money," Isaac explained. "It's about me needing to stand on my own feet. I can't be the guy who solves his problems with his girlfriend's billions." Emma didn't push, though Isaac knew it frustrated her to have the resources to help and not use them. Instead, she respected his boundaries and supported him as he explored options, eventually securing a loan to buy a smaller garage on the other side of town. The night before the grand opening of Zane Auto Repair, Isaac and Emma sat on his apartment balcony, looking at the stars. Lily had long since gone to bed, exhausted from helping paint the new garage sign. "I'm proud of you," Emma said, leaning her head against his shoulder. "I know how hard you've worked for this." "I couldn't have done it without your support," Isaac acknowledged, "and your business advice." Who knew a tech CEO would know so much about auto repair shop profit margins? "Business is business," Emma said with a shrug. "Numbers are my thing." "And what's my thing?" Isaac asked playfully. Emma pretended to think. "Terrible jokes and making me fall in love with you." Isaac's breath caught. They hadn't said those words yet, though he'd felt them for months. "You love me," Emma's cheeks flushed. "I do, is that okay?" "More than okay," Isaac said, pulling her closer. "Because I love you too." Their kiss was sweet and lingering, full of promise. "Move in with me," Emma said suddenly when they separated. Isaac blinked. "What? Move in with me," she repeated. "You and Lily. My house has plenty of room, it's closer to your new garage, and the school district is excellent." "Your house is a mansion," Isaac pointed out. "With staff and security and all that." "Details," Emma said with a wave of her hand. "We can work all that out. What matters is that I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to help Lily with her homework and make dinner together and build a life with you both." The sincerity in her voice was unmistakable, but Isaac hesitated. "What about Lily? It's a big change. We can ask her," Emma suggested. "See how she feels about it." As it turned out, Lily was thrilled with the idea, especially when she learned Emma's house had a pool and a treehouse in the backyard. Within a month, Isaac found himself living in a world he'd never imagined, one with household staff who called him Mr. Zane, despite his protests, a garage larger than his former apartment for his restoration projects, and Emma beside him each night. The transition wasn't always smooth. Isaac struggled with the security measures Emma's position required, the occasional paparazzi interest in their relationship, and his own lingering insecurities about their different backgrounds. But through it all, their connection deepened, grounded in the genuine understanding and respect that had drawn them together from the start. A year after they met, Isaac took Emma back to the airport where it all began. He'd arranged for access to the same gate where they'd first spoken, though it had taken considerable doing, and he suspected some help from Emma's connections, though she denied it. "Why are we here?" Emma asked, puzzled but smiling as they stood by the same seats where they'd sat that night. "I wanted to come back to where it started," Isaac said, taking her hand. "Where you were terrified of flying, and I was just trying to distract you with the worst jokes in my arsenal." "They were pretty bad," Emma agreed, her green eyes soft with memory. "The thing is," Isaac continued, suddenly nervous, "I never expected to find someone like you. Someone who sees the real me, who loves Lily like her own, who makes me laugh and challenges me and supports my dreams." Emma's eyes widened as Isaac knelt down on one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. "I don't have billions to offer you," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "Just my heart, my hands, and a lifetime of terrible jokes whenever you need them. Emma Davis, will you marry me?" Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she whispered. "1,000 times yes." as Isaac slipped the ring onto her finger, a simple but elegant design he'd saved for months to purchase. Refusing Emma's offer to use a family heirloom, applause erupted around them. Isaac looked up to see Lily running toward them, followed by their closest friends and family who'd been hiding nearby. She said yes. Lily announced to everyone, jumping up and down. Emma laughed through her tears, kneeling to hug Lily. I certainly did. Does this mean you're going to be my mom now? Lily asked. Emma looked to Isaac, who nodded encouragingly. If that's okay with you, she told Lily gently. It's very okay, Lily confirmed. Daddy makes better jokes, but you make better pancakes. A perfect partnership, Isaac said, pulling them both into his arms. They were married 6 months later in a ceremony that balanced Emma's resources with Isaac's sensibilities, elegant, but not extravagant, with Lily as the flower girl and Marcus as best man. Emma's father, initially skeptical of Isaac's intentions, had become one of his strongest supporters after seeing the genuine love between them. As they shared their first dance as husband and wife, Emma leaned close to whisper, I never thanked you properly. For what? Isaac asked, spinning her gently. For those jokes at the airport. I was having the worst panic attack of my life and you made me laugh instead. Just doing my dad duty, Isaac said with a smile, making bad jokes in public places. Well, your dad duty changed my life, Emma said softly. Before you, I had success but not happiness. Now I have both. And I have everything I never knew I needed, Isaac replied, kissing her forehead. Plus a pool, Emma laughed, the sound as bright and genuine as it had been that first night, always with the jokes. You married a professional dad joker, Isaac reminded her. It's in the contract. As they danced beneath twinkling lights, surrounded by those they loved, Isaac marveled at the journey that had brought them here, from a chance meeting between a nervous flyer and a struggling single dad to a partnership built on laughter, respect, and unwavering love. 3 years later, their family expanded with the birth of twins, a boy and a girl who inherited their father's sense of humor and their mother's determined spirit. Lily, now 11, embraced her role as big sister with pride, and occasional eye rolling at her parents' increasingly corny displays of affection. Isaac's garage flourished, expanding to 3 locations that specialized in vintage car restoration. He refused Emma's financial help, but gladly accepted her business acumen, and together they established a foundation providing vocational training for underprivileged youth interested in automotive careers. Emma continued leading Davis Technologies, though she restructured her role to allow more family time. On the 5th anniversary of their first meeting, she surprised Isaac by naming a new scholarship program after him, the Zane Innovation Grant for single parents pursuing education in technical fields. You changed my life with laughter when I needed it most, she told him as they sat on the porch swing of their home, watching their children play in the yard. I wanted to honor that by helping others who might need a similar chance. Isaac squeezed her hand, still amazed by her generosity and heart. Have I told you lately that I love you? Only about 5 times today, Emma replied with a smile, but I never get tired of hearing it. Good, because I never get tired of saying it, Isaac said, pulling her close. Almost as much as I never get tired of telling jokes, Emma groaned preemptively. Go on then, what's today's special? Isaac grinned. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything, Emma finished, rolling her eyes but unable to suppress her smile. That was the first one you ever told me. And I'll keep telling it until we're old and gray, Isaac promised. Some things never change. Emma rested her head on his shoulder, contentment radiating from her. And some things change everything, like meeting you. As the sunset painted the sky in brilliant hues, Isaac reflected on the journey that had brought them here, from a delayed flight and nervous stranger to a love story neither of them had seen coming. He might not have billions, but sitting here with Emma and their family, he knew without doubt that he was the richest man in the world.